We'll start soon. Okay, we're recording.
Okay.
All right, consider this episode 1, Fighters University. So, welcome, people that want to be fighters. Let's just introduce. My name is Pocholo Cruz, and you are.
I'm Eddie Too Smooth.
Yeah. All right. So I guess before we talk about people that want to be fighters, I guess let's talk about our backgrounds. Eddie, how did you get into martial arts? How did you get into fighting?
Well, I started off at a young age. I was about 7 years old. My background was Taekwondo. I did that all the way about up to 15 until I moved into mixed martial arts. Started off with Frank Mir right here in Las Vegas. At that time, I started transitioning over to jiu-jitsu, learning that ground game. At one point, I used to tell everyone, "Oh no, I do jiu-jitsu. I'm jiu-jitsu," for the longest time. But then eventually, I got back up into the stand-up, got mixing things around. Um, right here, I came into Fight Capital. Right here, again, another gym right here in Las Vegas. Got involved with Coach John, did a lot of kickboxing, Muay Thai fights. Now I'm just coaching at Fight Capital, the MMA team with Pocholo. I'm doing the boxing, the UNLV boxing, with Jason here at Fight Capital. So I'm all around the game, I'm trying to elevate and help people elevate all at the same time. That's what I'm here for. And at the same time, I'm trying to give what I learned in my past time, try to teach it into these guys, and give them something that maybe something that we didn't have access to as when we were younger or coming up in the fight game. I try to help them out. I know that me and you try to get in there and help these guys as much as possible. So
sure.
that's the goal.
Yep. Cool. Thanks, Eddie. And then, yeah, I've been in the game a long time since you were a kid, since you were 7 years old. So, yeah, that's a lot of experience there. I'll just go over briefly, like my experience. I started fairly young too. I had amateur boxing experience when I was about 6 years old. I only did for a few, like for probably about 3 or so months. So my parents made me stop because fighting's dangerous. Who would want their kid involved in that? And then I went into wrestling when I was 10 years old, and then from 10 years old, I stuck with wrestling. Then I got into mixed martial arts when I was about 16, and then I found an MMA gym. I guess, just a brief caveat. I was supposed to fight like an Australian exchange student. I had a story.
Okay.
It's a longer story. Yeah, but anyway, he just didn't like me for some reason, and then he said that he trained at MMA gym to try and scare me off. And I was like,
Right.
I'm not scared. I was like, I'll see you at your MMA gym. I'll beat you up in front of them. So then I took a bus. I took a bus to the MMA gym. I like waited outside for the kid. Kid never showed up. The gym actually opened up, and the instructor that opens was like, "Oh, are you a student here?" I was like, "I'll start today," and then that's how I started training at MMA there, and then just been it ever since. God, yeah. So
you run into that kid in there or no?
No, the kid never trained there. He had just said to try and like to try and be scary, but
okay.
Yeah. You know how high school kids are. They're just a lot talk now. No, actually, he probably didn't expect me to even like to be there, but I was there. He wasn't there. I started learning, and then hey, his loss. So wherever you are, kid, like I guess it's like this podcast is probably dedicated to you, really. But yeah, so I've been involved. Yeah, I've been involved in it a fairly long time, and now I'm coaching along with Eddie at Fight Capital in Las Vegas. Really getting the amateur team going, and yeah, we have our years in this. We know what it's like to compete. We know what it's like to be on both sides, to be on the fighting side and then on the coaching side. So I guess let's go topic number 1. Let's say you are a prospective fighter, or let's say you want to get into fighting. I guess like for you, Eddie, what do you think are some important things for someone to consider before they go into fighting? Yeah.
I would say one of the most important things is, are you really going to go in 100%?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, I feel a lot of guys come in here. I feel when they come in, they're 100%, and then somehow it just little by little it
Little
just
by
goes.
little
You know,
slides.
but
Yeah.
I guess that's something that it's hard to say come in 100% because everyone comes in 100%. So I guess it would be more of sticking with it. You
Mhm.
know, are you able to stick with something? You know,
Yeah.
and you know that should be with everything. You know, because you know how many times have you seen somebody they just can't stick with nothing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Exactly.
Whether it's a job or whatever. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like so it's just I guess yeah, being all in. You know, regardless of how things whether if it goes good,
Mhm.
bad, it's just being all in. You
Yeah.
know, I would say and I would think that the second number two would be find yourself a good gym.
Yeah.
You know, find yourself a good gym. Maybe try to find one that's not as commercialized or
A
as
big
big.
commercial gym.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, but sometimes a lot of those gyms are yeah, they're good. You know, they got great fighters, they got good coaches and everything, but at the same time, how much are you going to be able to develop out of there? How
Mhm.
much are they going to give you um how much time, you know, unless you're just a standout great fighter, then boom,
Yeah.
you know, you already got that for you. But
Yeah.
if you're just someone coming in, it's not easy, you know, for someone to take notice. Especially when you're just coming in, you maybe you know you're not as athletic, you know, so things maybe might come as a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Um, but those are just two things that I would say off the bat that would be the first two that I could think of. You know what I would be looking for
Yeah.
if it was me coming in, you know.
For sure. And that's of course with experience of like understanding because
Right,
you and yeah because I think with those points I'll build off on those because those points just come off experience because you've been to like multiple gyms and you've been let's go off with the big commercial gym. Not that
right,
there's anything wrong with big commercial gyms, though those are fine. If anything, like how I see those are like supermarkets, right? Or those are like big general things. If you're just looking for to grab and go, like MMA or grab and go like martial arts, then that's what you do. But
right,
if you want like, you know, if you want something that's like more in depth, like you don't like if you wanted like a nice suit, you don't go to a clothing store and just expect to. I mean, you can get off the rack, hey, that's perfectly fine. But it's not going to be custom made, tailored for you. It's just going to be what works for most people. And
right,
what if you're not most people, or actually, if anything, usually if things are made for most people, it's really made for no people because there's really nothing that really fits everybody. So
right,
if it's so generalized like that. So that's one of the caveats, and that's one thing that people don't really put in consideration is that attention, like yeah, because the more general something is, the less attention to detail there is. And as you mentioned, if you have no skills coming in, or if you have no
yeah,
athletic background coming in, you got no shot. No, like why would anyone even? Well, there's really no reason for someone to put their time in, because once again,
exactly,
now it's a big pond. Like
right,
why would a coach that's there really put any time and really any effort like in you when there's at least 10 other people that they could easily that are already
yeah,
grab and go, they're already ready to go. So
right,
I think that's really the point, or that's like one point that for that. And then on the notion of I think just commitment, I think really is what you're looking for in terms of being all in. I mean, if anything, I mean, people can say they're all in. We've heard everyone say they're all in, but they're not all in.
right,
We know that. If anything, I feel like commitment and consistency is more important than actually than just being or I think that than just saying that you are. I think if
right,
you're, I'd rather be somebody be committed. Uh, I wouldn't say necessarily low effort, but at least like
right,
it doesn't need to. They don't need to go balls out and like, oh, I'll quit
right,
my job.
exactly,
You know, did all this. But if they're like, yeah, you know, like do it all, burn the boats.
yeah,
But
you're gonna go crazy, you know,
yeah, but if they're like they're a guy that just after their day job, they say they work a 9 to 5, but they put like a steady 2-3 hours like afterwards, like every day. Maybe even that. Maybe all they can do is like an hour and a half, but they do that like 5 days a week or 6 days a week. And then with the notion knowing that once they can commit, then they do. I'd rather have that kind of necessary like slow burn, because I know that person, okay, this person's, if I see that person like every day, day after day, week after week, month after month, that person's gonna make a lot of gains, like eventually. Whereas the person that said, "Oh, I'm all in," and they train real hard for 2 weeks and then quit, then that does nothing, overall. So I feel like, I think the commitment and then the the commitment and then being able to find like a coach that's actually willing to work with you, I feel like are two very important things.
Yeah. And I mean, I would touch on that too. Is like with the coaching, that's the hardest part, because like you said earlier, everyone is, why go here when there's something here already, which, and I feel, that's the hardest part, that that's a hard little hump to get through, because everyone wants to fight. But it's like, that's the thing. Everyone wants to fight, but when it's time to fight, it kind of shows, maybe we got to take a little time here and do this, or maybe we got to do that, But yeah, finding a good coach is the main thing. Coaches that are going to work with you. You know what I mean? That's the, and it's hard, because even guys that are good still don't get to get work with a coach. You know what I mean? Like they, it takes some time.
For
like.
Sure.
There has to be something that impresses that coach, or something for them to even, here, let me commit or even talk to you, So I feel when the guys get those opportunities, they got to be able to like just kind of jump on it, because like there's not going to get that many opportunities,
And that comes with the commitment part too. Is like the consistency, because I feel like if you're not that, then why would a coach even like pay attention to you in terms of that? And I guess and on that point too, then there's a notion of also like, if you're a beginner, if you're someone that's not that experienced, how do you even know what a good coach is? Because just because someone's like, because there's so many things, there's just so much information out there. I think, hey, let's talk about that. Like, in your opinion, like what do you see, like being a coach yourself, like what do you see like in other coaches that are like, oh, I like what this is, or maybe not necessarily, don't need to give an example, but like maybe some like scenarios, or what things like would you look out for, like if you were doing it again and looking for a coach?
Well, yeah, like you said, knowing now as an experience, from what I see, from what a lot of times, well, I'll talk on both, from what I see now, is sometimes I see coaches and I think, I sometimes even ask you, like, is that guy good? Or you'll be like, clout, and and I'll be shocked, because I'm like watching and I see all these people, it's like a clickbait type of thing, it's like, they got the likes, they got this thing going, but it's like, I'm not even impressed with your fighters, but I mean, I see that they're winning, but for some reason, it's just, it's not impressive. But there is times where, you go and you watch and then you get shocked, like, oh, wow, this guy's are, I guess the things that I get would be is more, like I said, I guess they wouldn't have to show it, but it's just the way they explain it. I guess being
like their understanding of the fight game.
Their experience now, you kind of understand now when they're saying, like, oh, damn, he's actually good. Compared to like, you got some guys that it's just like, oh, they're doing the combos and everything on there, but it's just like, nah, I'm not feeling that. You know what I mean?
I think I know exactly what you're talking about. I think it's especially with click, you're talking about clickbait, you're talking about social media. There's so much emphasis on style over actual substance, over actual what's actually underneath. Like, you can do fancy. I think, okay, if we're gonna say examples, I feel like I think one big example that a lot of people will know, I feel like, is Ronda Rousey's coach. I mean, in terms of that, because it's like, hey, who else has they developed? And I think looking down, especially now, it's like 10 years, like almost.
I mean,
like
all they have was Shabazian, right? That's the
Edward Shabazian. Yeah, like who else has he developed? Okay, like now we can safely say, Edmund was lucky that Ronda walked into his gym, not the other way around. Because it's like, because I feel like Rousey was that kind of generational talent for that time. It didn't really matter. She could have had like a rando, like in her. She could have had her mom, real honestly, like coach her, and she would have still like beaten all those other women.
Right.
Like that. Like that's the way I see it. in terms of, and that's just given, like that's just given how I saw and kind of what you're talking about too. Like when I hear them coach, when I hear them talk about it, it's like you're not really saying anything. And especially I think one key thing off for me, if I feel like someone's just like a cheerleader, like out there when they're not really giving like actual technical advice, when it's like, hey man, are you just like a motivational speaker? Like at this point, are you? I thought you were the coach. I thought you're like you might as well get some pom poms than an
or these guys watch too many videos of Teddy Atlas.
they're just a parrot for Teddy Atlas. We're firemen. Blah blah blah.
Well, yeah, he would come in when it's like needed, and he was actually a good coach too, though. At the same time,
but I get what you mean. Like Eddie's an actual good coach, but it's not the fireman speech that makes him a good coach. It's like the years and years of boxing training. Like
exactly. And too, like those were all like specifically made for his fighter at that time.
Those are situationals, right? And also I believe that was like Timothy Bradley, right? I think that he was talking to who has several world championships and is like a great skill and a great athlete. If you're just like if you're just coming off the couch, you gotta give you a great speech. That's not gonna do shit for you.
That's why that's what that like you said, and there is sometimes too where I feel like there's times where you just instruction just doesn't work. So it's like you gotta just I don't know. You just gotta yell at these guys sometimes, But that all comes out with just, I guess, being, over time. I feel like I feel like this last couple fights I've kind of toned my level down a little bit, like to try to, not get so hyped like I'm in the fight, but more of like kind of watching and seeing what's going on. And like, I feel these last 2 times I've been able to kind of see like that what's happening a little bit without having to be like, and I can kind of see like that if I'm yelling something and they're not responding, it's kind of better maybe to just trying to evaluate what's going on so you could try to tell them maybe when it hits the corner. But at the same time, it's still all a learning process. I would say like coming from a fighter's point of view, I try to think of like what would I want in the corner when someone comes and I'm not acting right, or and just sometimes, it doesn't work. Sometimes, fighters react differently to different situations, and like I said, just being in these situations is a little hard. But like you said, it's all about the development process. And what is it when it goes back to, I feel like you said, is what is it that you're being taught, because like what did that guy teach Ronda Rousey? Obviously nothing. And that's the main thing I want to make sure that's what's coming through, is that nobody could say like, oh, they're not being taught well, but it could be something simple as maybe they just didn't execute, and that's the main thing, is like, because a lot of times you could be coaching someone, you could give them the right advice, but then the execution just for some reason that day just goes to shit,
exactly.
It didn't work out.
The right thing done at the wrong time, it can still be. I
can say that we've been on both sides of it, to where like we've been in a fight and we go and just scrape this in the first round, we get it done, or first round we're warming up, second round we're done, or we go in there. I think the 2 times was 2 second round finishes, right?
2 second round finishes.
So we've been on the side of where we've been finished in second rounds, stuff like that. So it kind of, it works both ways. We're like, we have on camera us doing what we're doing in the back, and it works right there straight into the fight. Then there's some times where you're in the back and you're working on it and it goes to the fight and it just nothing goes that way. So I guess the main thing would be just, what is it that you, like you said, are you a motivational speaker, or is it actually technique and skill being taught into these guys to where, because I guess that's what the main thing is too, is to try to put all that you're being taught, because it's like doing math. You could be there all for an hour and still get that problem 5 + 2 and you put 9. A kid will do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
all day.
Yeah.
Like,
all day, that was 7, and then you put that as 9.
Exactly. Exactly. When they do those speed tests, where they got like 20 of them, you gotta get it in there. That's you've probably done it a million times, but then you go in there and I missed 5 of them, and you're looking at the easiest ones, like, how did I miss these? And I think that's basically what it comes down to in the fight. It's like, damn, what the hell did I do? Because it's and sometimes it happens as coaches, like where we're there and we're thinking like, what the hell went wrong here? And that's the main thing is coming back now, and I feel is making those adjustments. And that's where it's key is in adjustments. And I know that we were speaking is that when it comes to adjustments, sometimes adjustments don't come in 5 minutes. Sometimes adjustment could be in the first 5 seconds. Oh, you know what? This is not what I'm thinking is going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's time to adjust. It's time to change, and see what happens from there,
Yeah, for sure. And it's understanding in terms of adjusting, like, okay, because there could easily be other things, or it could easily be a point where, all right, I need to change this right away, or do I stick with it because I know that it will work like down the road. Exactly. And it's a balancing act. And I think along with that, finding the right timing, another notion is that we're one that you've kind of put back in or further back is it depends from fighter to fighter. And I think that's what's key. It's like a coach understanding that that everyone's different, that different fighters respond to different things. So there's no one cookie cutter. If there was one cookie cutter thing, that'd be super easy just to coach people.
Exactly.
Right? Every yeah, with everything. And I think that comes with understanding the person, I think, too. Right. Is because each person comes in is gonna be different, and they're gonna like you're talking about corner work. Different people just respond to different things. Maybe yelling is how some people do. Maybe some people don't respond well to that. Maybe some people need to are like super hyped and need to get like calmed down, or maybe some people are super down and need to get like hyped up. So figuring what that is, and also, I mean, different people might just feel differently on that day, and it just understand.
I'm glad we never had to get someone like a Strickland. Hey, sit your fucking ass on the stool already, man. We're trying to talk to you walking all over the place,
shut the fuck up and sit down.
That has to be the hardest guy I would think. Is like this dude's just walking back and forth, like like, hey man, it's like But like you said, every fighter, it's like you kind of tend to, you got to go with their style at the same time too. You can't just change them. The whole point is to make a fighter of what they are already. Everyone has a fighter in them.
And understanding, what that is for them, or how that is, especially for someone that's just developing. They may not know. They may have no idea, and sometimes they need that third person or a person that can see from outside, and let them know, like, oh, this is probably what you. There's because there's an idea what people think they are, and then there's what they really are, and usually that's going to be different things. So figuring. Figuring what that is, because I mean we even seen from the highest levels. Damian Maia thought he was a kickboxer for a moment there until he got his who sat him down. Oh, it was Nate Marquardt, remember?
Marquardt. Oh yeah, did he hit him with like a little hook or something, right?
Or I want to say I think he tried to jab because he was a southpaw. Boom, just came right in and just dropped him. But sometimes you need those wake up calls, and sometimes you need that. I think a coach is someone that's willing to understand who you are as a person, and then figure out like what's like what ideally is for you as a fighter. I guess we'll going back once again to the commitment thing. I believe too, because we're talking about technique and proper things, but as we also know, we know guys that have good technique. We know guys that know how to hit a bag, hit mitts,
look good,
and then you see them in a fight and they're shit. And I think that's the thing, because there's more than just with a fighter. There's more than one. Like back to the test. There's more than just knowing what 5 + 2 is. Now you got to figure out, can you do that with the pressures on? And there's more. I mean, there's more pressure than getting a question wrong on a test. There's like actual bodily harm like happening to you. And that comes back to the commitment. Like, are you actually willing, are you actually willing to be a fighter? If we're going back to Teddy Atlas, like, are you a fireman or are you a guy with just a hose that has no idea what to do? Like right there. Because both guys may have the hose, but only one person going to put the fire out. The other person's going to run away. So figuring out, not only do you have the right tools, you have the right mentality, like for that. And I think that's a tough thing, because as we know, and I feel like I can safely say this, like with all my years of, being just in the fight game, it's really not for everybody. It's pretty difficult to do, because it's a lot of pressure you put yourself on. And I've definitely seen, I think your commitment to it needs to be so very strong, because if it's kind of what you're talking about, all in, if you're not all in, it's easy just to crap out. It's easy just to look out and want to get out of there. So
yeah, I agree. That's what it comes down to, is that, like you said, it's not being in here for so long. Like you said, it almost, when you explain things to someone, you almost kind of try to think to yourself, what's the problem here? Because it's
what's not connecting? Like, why is it not?
Because I feel any type of martial arts I would go into, it would be easy, just for the simple fact that, like, I just, I know, compared to where someone, like, when, it's hard, I can't mix up the boxing into kicking, like, why not? Like, just throw some hands and then throw your kicks too, but it's
make it more difficult. I think that's the thing. People play it up like more difficult in their heads.
Right. A lot of times people keep on forgetting that, boxing's boxing, kickboxing, MMA. But remember, all that is fighting. At the end of the day, like, when you're on the street, there's no more boxing, there's no more kickboxing, there's no more jiu-jitsu. It's like you gotta fight, regardless of what happens. You're in a fight, and it's not called like, oh, we're on the street, so we're just using hands. It's boxing, or no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Let's hope that whatever you do, and that's what you said. I like what you said, is like, we've seen guys with technique. How many times have we been in the back rooms and see guys like, oh damn, we're like shocked. Oh damn, this guy's I want to watch him. Let's watch him in the back and see how he does.
We watch the fight. He's like, the fuck is that?
Like, man, this guy wasn't even this guy on the mitts. He's a wrestler now. It's like all those type of little things that you see is like, okay. And there could be some times where you're looking and you're laughing. This guy looks sorry. Look how he looks, then he goes in there, he just boom, like shocks everyone, busts the guy up, takes him down, submission type of thing, where you just get surprised, almost like the champ right now, DDP. He's
one we talk about a lot.
I'm curious to see, I know it's a little off topic, but that guy, that Belin, or from Bellator, Belin.
I think it's Johnny Eblin.
Oh, Eblin. Yeah.
I
guess we're going back and forth right now, and I was like trying to figure out who that guy is. Like, I don't know this guy, but I guess he's a wrestler or whatever, but
I think he just fought like last Saturday, because he fought the guy that, it is kind of going on top, but he fought the guy that Noah Buckley had that highlight reel knockout and then ended up becoming a PFL champ. But well, going back, I think so. We do bring up DDP, 3+2+C a lot, and I feel he's a great example that you don't necessarily need to have. I'm sure he trains. I'm sure he spends a lot of time, but let's be honest, he's never gonna. If he ever had an instructional, I don't think anybody would buy it. In terms of that, because there's just something. It's awkward. I think that's all you can say, right? There's like an awkward way with the way he goes about it. But you cannot argue that it's effective, and that's the thing. I feel like that's on the individual. I feel like he made that effective. As much as coaching as he had, he still had to make that effective, like, for himself. And going along with, as we're talking, what we would want a fighter to have. I feel like what DDP does have is you can, of course, he's a good athlete. You would want that. But another thing too, because I've seen him, take damage. I've seen him be in pretty like a lot of danger, like in fights. But one thing he doesn't back down, and you can tell he has a dog in him that's going to go in. And I think that's an important thing too. I think if anything, that might be one of the most important things. Like, do you have that? Do you have that hunger? Do you have that dog inside you? You want to put yourself in the fire. Going back to put yourself in the fire and to want to be in that kind of discomfort where things are not going down. Because I think that's the thing. That's why we bring him up, because there's a lot. He's not his way to the title. It wasn't like an Anderson Silva where he made everything look easy. If anything, you're like, oh damn, how is this guy even here? Which is like a lot of the ways that he went about things. But it just goes to show, just having the heart of a fighter is like different. Like I'd much rather have someone have heart than no technique. Yeah.
About telling me that you're on Instagram with all these likes and you look good and everything, because that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It does not matter. Sometimes people tend to think that, oh, I gotta be this perfect fighter. And then you got guys like this to where you're in shock a little bit, like how come I could do everything kind of easy? Then you got this guy who's kind of, I wouldn't say he's not athletic, but just something about him that he just doesn't do correctly. You know what I'm trying to say? Not the smoothest.
Like how I would say it is that I would never want a fighter to fight like him, but he somehow makes it work, which is why we're talking about it. Let's say, I'd say that's the thing. I think that's the impressive thing about it, is that if you were to give 6 billion people like that kind of technique, and then you would think, oh, there's no way this person would ever become champion with the way that they do. But I'd say that's the thing. And along with that, you can't question the guy's commitment, you can't question the guy's heart, the motivation like there. But that's the thing, that guy needs no motivational speaker like, in terms of that in the corner. So
all he sees is his coach kissing his cup.
Yeah. maybe that's what makes him fight hard. Who knows?
Oh man, that's funny.
Oh, but going back. Yeah, if you really want, if you really want to be a fighter, that's the thing. You have to really, really want it, because that's the thing. It's not likes. It's not it's like that Dana White speech in the Ultimate Fighter. It's not all banging broads and doing all that.
Yeah.
It's not that light. It's hard. It's hard. It's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of work that people won't ever even know that you did.
Right. Yep. And that's the one thing too with a lot of this fight game now, with you got social media. It plays a big factor. It plays a big factor, and you got to learn how to use it. Because at some points, you just got to be ready though. You got all the looks and the glitz and glamour. Be ready for when it's time to put it to use. Because it goes both ways. You can't just be the internet fighter, the keyboard warrior, as we say. There's some guys on that are more crazy on street beasts than guys that are trained fighters or supposed to be trained fighters, right? So it's like a lot of the times you got to take away that that fear and that mentality, and that's something that I feel like I should have touched on is you got to figure out if you're really a fighter, and I guess that really just doesn't happen unless you actually start fighting. Because we could be in the gym and everything, but is that really fighting? Is that real? Like, is that has it really hit in your head yet that this is actually real? Or is it when you get in the ring, regardless of what it is, boxing, Muay Thai, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and sometimes you go into a jiu-jitsu match and this guy's cranking your whole neck to the side of your body, getting twisted, something you never felt in practice.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't care in the tournament. You know what I'm trying to say? So
they don't care about you, and they don't need to see you the next day. They don't give a shit about you. They're there to injure you.
Exactly. That's
why it's a different kind of feeling.
And I wonder does everyone have that? Like, are they understanding that? And that's what everyone needs to see when they come in, is that this is real.
Yeah.
You know, and you need to be just as real. You know, like I said, I'd rather you be the guy of me having to tell somebody in the gym, hey, bro, calm down, because you're just whooping all these carpenters and stuff in here. Yeah, you know, the dude just came out from work and you're beating him up. You know, I'd rather have that than like, hey, dude, this guy's just came off of work and he's kicking your ass because you're over here going too slow. You know, trying to be, you know, oh, I'm trying to, you know, be nice, or I'm trying to be technical. Like, hey, you know, you gotta train hard, train the way you want to fight. You know, and if that means, you know, every so often you got to put bumps and bruises on people, you're not doing it purposely. Hey, I'm here to train. You know, don't come with me when they say switch, you know, or something like that. That's what it comes down to. You know, you're always gonna have training partners. You're never, and people need to understand that, like, you don't need to be nice with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna be, trust me, there'll be people just like you that like that want to like actually like get a little something. There'll be people that always will come to you. And whether they're good or not, you know, there'll be someone that's, you know, oh, I like to go a little harder or whatever. Let me go with this guy. Hey, you know, if you feel that it's time to go, hey, let's go. Yeah, right. You know, what's wrong with it? You know, and I think that's what's kind of went away, you know, as guys are just too nice. You know, it's not I guess that goes with a commitment part though.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
because they're not really about it. I feel
like
it's a good thing. Yeah.
Like what is
there's
this?
no risk, there's no reward. That's how it goes. Yeah.
You know, like how many times have we've seen it or we've been in there ourselves where we know we're not going 50% or even close to 75% and guys are breaking down.
Yeah.
You know, like with a punch to the body or a kick to the body, a knee. It's like, whoa. You know, like, you know, just imagine like what a guy's trying to do to you when he's actually trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
You know, how are you going to react to that? Are you going to take it and go down that easy, or are you going to go and try to go hurt him back?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's where, like you said, where it comes down to, are you about it?
Yeah. Are you about it or not? Because like
DDP, he puts himself in that risk and that danger. He almost gets himself into a war to see if you can actually hang.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, let's see if you're able to last.
Because and I think also he does that because he knows that's his best way to win, because he knows that he's gonna as ugly as it's gonna be, he knows he's gonna go. Yeah.
You know, if you're a technical guy, that's gone. You know, if it's a war, you're kind of like, you know, now you're not as a technical guy, you want to be as smooth as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you don't want to be being rushed, you don't want to be getting grabbed.
Yeah, you want nice and clean. Yeah.
Exactly. You want everything to be clean. So once a guy like him starts putting pressure on you, you know, you start wearing down. That's why I would say he did well against Strickland, because Strickland's kind of used to him putting that pressure on people and him kind of dictating what he's going to do while the other guys are fighting off their back foot, compared to where, DDP went back sometimes, but he fought. He always fought.
Yeah.
You know,
because he went back, but there was always pressure. Like in terms of that, like just because pressure doesn't mean that you're necessarily always moving forward, but it means you're always dangerous, or that there's always a threat that's happening.
And I would say, you know, I would say Strickland would be, I mean, when he brawls in the gym, he's not, but when he's fighting, I would say he's pretty technical. He's just a 1-2 down the pipe, deep down the middle. He's pretty technical. It's not like, oh, that's awkward. He's just doing everything just simple, basically.
Yeah,
you know, and it works. It's efficient too. You know, basic. And people
need to understand, like pressure fighter, pretty much.
Exactly. He's not really going in with hooks and wild punches. He's technical, and then you got a guy who wasn't as technical, and maybe some people laugh at when they see him hit mitts or hit the bag, because even when I see it, he doesn't even look good. You know, like he's real stiff and everything. But hey, I felt that gave it strict. You know, I'm not used to this, you know, and I guess that's just what everyone with their style, like you said. I guess the main thing is commitment and consistency. That's like two things in one, you know, commitment and consistency. Because if you don't have, you can have commitment, but if you're not consistent, then commitment is already gone. And if you're not yeah, it's like they got to be both together, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And if you're consistent but not committed, then what's the even point? Why are you even there? I guess. Yeah. Well, I
exactly,
guess maybe you're there for different things, but that's
yeah,
not good to be a fighter.
exactly. Like I mean, you know, yeah. Unless you're just here, yeah, to ride the bus, I guess,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But you'll never see that really. You know, that's hardly like, you know. Well, you'll be shocked. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some people that I've seen that have been committed, and it's just you could tell maybe it might not be for them. You
Yeah.
know, and that's just how it is. You know,
Yeah.
that's how it is sometimes. You know,
And
like I said, as time goes on, you realize, because you know, fighting people need to realize that it's not a 1 year thing, it's not a 2 year thing, it's not a 3 year thing. It's actually a lifelong thing, and I think that's where a lot of people kind of take it as to something where they don't realize that, you know, like
yeah, they don't realize what they're getting into in terms of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
like you know, you didn't realize like yeah, this is not. It's like you know you got to think about when you're a kid, you know, majority people, you know, I would say like my kids, they start off in sports, so they already know sports,
Yeah.
right? Like they know like sport that you know they're probably gonna know soccer, right? And then it's like, you know, as they get older, to some people it's like, oh wow, they're really good. And you know, when they're I'm talking around at 15, 16 when they get older, but they forgot that these kids have been doing that since 7 years old or you know, and that's where a lot of people get is like they see, oh, this guy's like, damn, I wonder how come that guy's good. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, he has been wrestling since 10.
Yeah.
You know, like we are, you know, a lot of times you know, yeah, he might have just started doing MMA 2 years ago, but remember, he has a foundation, he has a base,
For
he
sure.
has discipline from the get go. You know, compared to where maybe some just learned discipline 2, 3 years ago, and
For
don't
sure.
even know yet because now they're really fighting, and now they're really learning the real things. Like, oh shit, this is real now. You
Yeah.
know, like, and I didn't know I was gonna be fighting this much times a year, or you
Mhm.
know, like it's you know, it happens. You know, some people get lucky. Hey, you know, they fight 5, 6 times, they're pro. Hey, you know, some people fight a
Yeah.
lot of, you know, but like I said, when you go like that, where pro are you going, you know, for
Yeah.
you know, a
What
little bit.
kind of pro are you in terms of that? Yeah.
So it all goes. It's all hard, but the main thing I would say is, yeah, that's very key is this commitment, consistency, and just knowing that this is not uh you know, I'm sorry, you know, but you went to like a dealership with bad credit and they
Yeah.
got you on a 5 year deal because that's
Yeah.
what this fighting thing is. You know, when you
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
in, you're not getting your 5 years and getting out. It's just impossible. If not, just don't do it. You
Yeah.
know, because it's not worth it. But if it's something that you're really thinking like, hey, I'm gonna live my whole life like this. When I'm 50 years old, I'm still gonna be in the bag, in the gym hitting the bag. If you could think like that, then hey, this should be for you. You know, but if you can't see yourself like at 50, you're like, oh, I'll be on vacation or I'll be living, then maybe it's not because I could see myself at that age showing
Yeah.
my kids how to throw or punch or who knows, maybe I might be cornering my son or whatever. I don't know, you
Mhm.
know, but I could just see myself still involved. You know, I don't see how I would not be involved in doing what I do right now. And
Yeah.
that's where people need to get it. Is this gonna be a lifetime thing for me?
For sure.
You know, because fighting, that's what it is. It's that much of a commitment. I think people forget that, and I think they're not even understood or told that from the
Yeah.
beginning. That you know, and I feel like we make it so easy because we've been doing it again. Some people can't even care. You know, they're probably thinking, oh, they make it so easy, or
Yeah.
how they do it. It's not that we make it look easier. How we're doing it is we've been doing it,
We've
and
been
it
doing it
and
so long. Yeah.
yeah,
I
and
was
it
just thinking
is
about
easy.
the other day. I was like, grappling against a kid, and I think he was high school. I was like, man, I've been
Yeah,
doing this as long as this kid's been alive, probably even
you're
before
right.
that. It's
Exactly.
like you, like kid, you got no chance. It's just, it's just
And he thinks he's gonna use all the tricks in the books, all the tricks that he knows. You know, he thinks I'm
yeah,
gonna get this guy. No,
yeah,
you
man,
know, which I'm sure he has got some people.
for
You know,
sure,
some
for sure. I'm sure
yeah,
it's
you
worked
know
on some people.
exactly this. You know, some taxi cab drivers that came in. You know, he just
Yeah,
body slammed them. You know what I mean? I'm sure
yeah,
that's happened. You know, that's why. Like I said, I love going against you know, the kids, you know, to
yeah,
see. But then sometimes at the same time you learn from them, like, hey,
No,
this
for
guy's
sure.
the dog, he's I see that in him. And then maybe not so much learn like, oh, he taught me a technique, but you just learn like, oh, this guy's aggressive, maybe he could be something.
Like their tendencies. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But just from rolling with someone, you can tell like, oh, this guy, he probably even in the stand-up, he must be aggressive if this is the way he rolls, or
For sure.
like is he a counter guy, or it almost kind of goes the same way.
Yeah.
When you got an aggressive guy, I'm sure once they go to the ground, they're aggressive. They're
Yeah.
going for the back, they're going to sink the choke in already. It's like, and then when they're standing up, they're in there banging too.
For sure.
So
I think, yeah, and I mean that goes hand in hand with the mentality, because like how you think comes out in how you act.
right.
And that's kind of what we're talking about too. We're going back to, we know people that can do the techniques, but if you do the techniques with nothing behind it, then that's with no gas behind it, then the technique's worthless. It's kind of going back to the, you have the consistency but no commitment behind it. So
Exactly.
Yeah. I think, yeah. So I guess in short, because we're talking about fighters like going to come in, yeah, it requires a lifetime. I mean, look at us. We've been at it since we were kids, and we're still at it. And there's no signs of slowing down now. So
Exactly.
just keeps going. So I think that's a great point. If someone is thinking about being a fighter, this isn't a pickup basketball league that you can just jump in and out of.
Exactly.
So it requires a lot more like time and commitment. And in terms of doing so, and I think you kind of brought up a good point too about, how are you going to handle the pressure? Because as we know, however hard a sparring session, however hard you can hit somebody on the mitts or have them run and be tired in terms of sprinting, it's going to be nowhere near as intense as even 2 minutes with somebody that they don't know, that doesn't care about them, that's looking to hurt them. That's a different experience that most people don't even understand, like how different that is compared to the thing that you do, right? Yeah. So I feel like if anything, you see that.
Yeah, that one punch hits you. Oh, well, it's real.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, this is real.
It's real now.
So, yeah, that's why. I don't know. There's been times when we tell them we rather have, we want you to be hurting the other people than you getting hurt. It just sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I rather, like you said, I'd rather have. I remember when we do those point tournaments, we'd rather have our guys go and them telling us to calm down and us being the guy getting beat down. And that's just what it comes down to with a mentality thing. And it just has to be a switch that flips. When it's fight mode, hey, understand that it's fight mode is not a game time no more. Understand that when it's fight mode, something needs to change. Like you can't be the same that you were just in the locker room in the fight. It's just impossible. Something needs to change. An alter ego is what I try to tell people. I guess that's what it's called, like an alter ego. What is it?
However it is, or maybe you're really an asshole and you just like go out there and just say
that.
The person out there might be an alter ego.
Go out there and just be, honestly, when you go out there, you just got to be a psychopath. Simple as that.
Sure.
I mean, you're already a little bit somewhat crazy.
Yeah. Well, you have to be crazy to do this. I mean, talking about alter egos. Yeah, I think it's like we're talking about some people need to get an alter ego. I feel like John Jones, like as a person, like him as a normal person, that is the alter ego. He's really a psychopath.
That's what I'm saying. He's really, I think that's what that's what I say too. It's like, I would call us all fighters and stuff is everyone, fighters a psychopath, but so we happen to be able to control ourselves.
For sure.
And this is what our little thing is because I mean, if it were really to be, every fighter that is an actual fighter would beat someone to death. And it would that's just how it would be. I know it kind of sounds crazy and stuff, but that's what would happen. Like why you think there's referees in the fight?
What it is. Yeah,
exactly. Like look at why you think there's a referee in the fight, because a guy will hit the guy 3-4 times without, unless somebody stops it. You know, in a fighter, that's what happens when you fight. You know, hardly do you get guys that are nice enough to hit someone and walk away. Hey, you do that? Hey, that guy's a nice guy. You
Yeah.
know, but I could never do that. If I see you go down, oh, I got him. You know,
Yeah.
now I'm gonna make this guy pay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
this guy's gonna
following
pay.
up for sure. I know
Yeah,
that, and
exactly.
I'm the same way. I'm like, oh, well, you're dropped. So if I
Yeah,
have to stop myself, like, oh yeah, I gotta be sure I'm
yeah,
not gonna injure somebody in terms of that. But yeah,
exactly. That's the and that's what people need to understand, that is when you fight, is that what you're really, are you willing to, is that how you think when you fight? Or you're
yeah,
thinking like, okay, I'm gonna jab, I'm gonna jab, I'm gonna two, you know, I'm gonna
yeah,
jab.
yeah,
Like, you know, or it's every intention that like, okay, well, I'm everything that I throw, whether what it is, a jab, a teep, a headbutt, I don't know, shoulder thrust, you know, when I body clinch, is everything meaningful? Is it in a intent, a
is it
harmful?
intentional?
Yeah, are you really there to harm this guy with everything you have? You know, that's what the mentality needs to be. Hey, some people might say, hey, no, that's not the mentality. You're supposed to be a thinker and keep. Well, hey, man, I guess, you
Whatever
know,
works for
yeah,
you, I guess. Yeah,
yeah, you know, I guess, I can understand the chess playing thing. Yes, and that's every fighter got to know how to put. You know, you got to be 3 steps ahead. But
yeah.
do you have a killer's mentality? That's the whole point.
Because there
Who
gets to be a
cares?
time when it's not just a chess match. It gets to the time when it
Exactly,
becomes a dogfight. And so
exactly
what's going to
right.
happen? Yeah.
And you know, there were certain guys who had that, and you know, one that comes to mind was a Vanderlei Silva. You know,
Hmm.
killer mentality. His, he had to have a different mindset. You know, when it came to fighting, you could tell it didn't play around. You could tell it wasn't a game to him, and
Hmm.
that's what needs to happen with these young fighters when it comes into fighting. You know, is this? I guess what it really comes down to, like we started in the very beginning, is this something you really want to do? Are you gonna
Yeah.
go all in? Do you plan on taking bumps and bruises? And maybe this might going from, if you start at 21, don't expect to be pro at 25. Expect coming to turning pro at 30, which is still a good age, which I don't know where people get is, oh, that's old. No, you got plenty of time. I mean, you got 7 good years of
Yeah.
prime time. Like if you,
Prime time
because right,
to rack it up. Yeah, it's how it goes. But yeah, man, I think that's totally, yeah, it's totally true. Like, are willing to go through the bumps and bruises. Even I mean, Dominic Cruz doesn't think he's a top, middleweight, but there's Anderson Silva, and even in the, like, let's think of like the first Chael Sonnen fight where that was totally ugly, like for him, and it's not like the way you would think that he would usually fight, because it was because he was, like, I think, came in injured or something like that, but
right,
the fight was getting taken to him. And there
right,
was I mean, he was taken to a point, pretty much taken to a point where, yeah, it looks like he's about to lose, but
right,
in his mind, like that losing never occurred, like, or not,
right,
never even thought in his mind, because he went all the way, like, yeah, what was that, 2 minutes left, like
right.
1 minute and a half left, left in a 25-minute fight, found a
Yeah,
way to do it, and that's
yeah,
the thing, because it won't always look good.
yeah. That's the thing, is it's not always gonna look good. So that's another tip for fighters. Don't worry about how pretty you look or how nice your technique looks. Just obviously you want your technique to look good, right? But the main thing is, are you going through the process? Are you
Yeah,
sticking with the process? Are you continuing to get better?
yeah.
um
Are you consistent
uh,
with it? Are you committed to
yes.
it? Yeah. Are you
Do you
actually
feel,
about the game? Yeah.
yeah, do you feel that when you go and meet a different sparring partner, do you meet their intensity? Do you match them? Or are you continually, you know, um, um, because if you're not getting someone to get yourself better, then maybe you should, step aside or go somewhere else. Because the main thing is everyone should be helping each other to get better. And that's
Yeah.
what people need to understand. It's not here, oh, let's just go tag, tag, tag. Hey, man, do you want to get better? I want to
Yeah.
get better too. Let's actually move around. If I tag you, I tag you. We get black eyes, we get black eyes. We get bloody nose, hey, we're cool at the end of the day. And back in those times, I remember getting black eyes, bloody nose. You know what that used to tell me? Hey, fuck, I'm gonna march something with my head more.
Yeah.
Man, he caught straight down the middle. How many times I let him catch me? So it's all those type of things need to happen so you can learn. Because once it comes with those little gloves, or regardless if it's MMA or whatever, because boxing, you're gonna drop down to 12 ounces. For amateur. If it's pro, you're going down smaller, 10 ounces to
Yeah.
8
10
ounces.
ounces. Yeah.
Then you got MMA, we're dropping down. What are those, 6 or 4s?
It's like it's between like 4 to 6, but I think it's more than mainly 4.
Right.
But still, it's like, and also that's the thing. Like those things are there to protect your face. Those are protect the person's hands. They're hitting you.
I mean, you see how they look. I mean, I would say the tough enough ones were pretty thin. They were already soft. They weren't even hard metal. They were just like you said, just to cover the hands. Don't get scrapped. It's basically bare knuckle. I mean,
pretty much. And that's the thing. It's a fight like there. I mean, I guess we've been saying this point like all the time, but yeah, I would rather have like a 3-legged dog that's like willing to go to like to the death than like one that's like that's all has the size, has the speed, but it doesn't want to get down. Then I'm taking that 3-legged dog that's willing to die like every time because it's going to reach a different level or willing to go to a certain place where the other dog in the fight isn't willing to go. So ultimately, so I guess in conclusion, I'd say fighting is for real. You don't play fighting. It's not just something like, if you're looking for a hobby, find chess, soft pitch, softball, something like that. Get like get something safer.
Basketball pickup league on the weekend.
Exactly. Get some bowling,
frisbee,
play some darts,
frisbee golf. Do all that extra stuff because it's not for the hobbyists. It's not for the weak either, and it's not for
hobbyists. Like in this is like, quite frankly, I think it's not safe to think like that, guys. Because this is something. I mean, you can get injured playing baseball or playing basketball, but you can get like life-altering damage. And the thing is, it's done on purpose. Like, I know me. I'm looking to like if it was competition, it's like I don't care if the guy's a professor or not really about it. I'm like, well, too bad he stepped in. He stepped in here with the wrong guy.
No, rock his ass.
Exactly. It's my grandma. I'm like, oh well, you gotta put your hands up.
That's exactly what happened. That's what I'm saying. For the hobby, stick to hitting bags. Get yourself a personal trainer, hit mitts. Work angles. But hey,
it's a great thing. It's a great workout. Don't
ever say that you want to go and compete and go in there and be like, hey, this was in hobbyist level or whatever. There's nothing about fighting is hobbyist. If you want to go and train, like you said, hey, great workout. That's cool. Awesome. Everyone should do it. Actually, you might even learn how to protect yourself a little bit. But at the same time, how if you know how to protect yourself if you don't put yourself in danger anyways? So, it all comes down to, like you said, in conclusion, don't play fighting. Simple as that,
Yep. If you're not committed, if you're not consistent, don't even think about it. And if you're not willing to put yourself in a place where that's not even thing. I wouldn't even say if you're not willing to hurt somebody and be in a place where you could be hurt, then then this is the wrong thing. I feel like more often than not, whenever I hear people say that they want to be a fighter, as I tell them, no, you don't. Like you don't really want to do this. You gotta be crazy to do this. I know because I am crazy and I'm in here.
We are all psycho right here. And I don't know how psycho you are yet. Until I see a little.
You gotta prove it, or else you're not gonna last.
Exactly. Hey, go BJ Penn and lick blood. Do something. Let me know.
At least that. Okay, I know that guy's about it. Like that guy's not fake. That's like,
hey, that guy's always about it.
Hey, like, I don't want that guy to be my governor, but I would want that guy. I want him to have my back.
Oh, wow, imagine that guy governor at local bars. Come on, man. Fucking BJ Penn at local bars. Come on.
Getting slumped and slumping bouncers. But see, that's the thing. But see, that's a cycle right there. I'm not surprised. I'm like, okay, of course, that's what BJ Penn's doing right now. That's the thing. We saw how he fought and the way he's living his life right now. That's no different than the way that he.
Exactly.
That's no different. So I'd say in conclusion, if you're not crazy, you're in the wrong thing.
Exactly.
Get out of here.
Run, get everything you have. Get out. take your family, pack your car, and go.
Yeah,
It's
go.
not for you. You know?
It's not for you.
It's not definitely.
And there's no shame in that because there's
no shame. Hey, like I said, hey, there's no shame. Yeah, hey, we'll be in the gym talking shit, but hey, that's just how exactly. You know, there's no shame in it. You know, like I said, it's not like I said, nobody like I said, nobody intentionally does anything. It's just, hey, we just see it as it comes. Say it, we see it and say it as it comes, and that's what it is, man. You know, we've been in there so many times. We kind of already seen so many things and the same typical things going on.
We know how this is gonna go. It's not.
It's not nothing new. The thing now is just figuring out, like what we always do, just win. You know, that's the main thing. Is when's the next win and how we're gonna win. That's the main goal, and that's how it always should be. You know, whether you win or lose, it should be when's the next win, because it never stops.
And are you willing to pay the price for victory too?
Exactly. You know, because sometimes victory doesn't come easy.
No.
And that's why now people need to understand why we're talking about with commitment, and don't play this as a game, because sometimes your wins don't come, you know, like the way you expect them. You know, sometimes you're gonna have to dig and be actually show some grit to show that you need a win. And that's just how it is.
Yep. So sounds good. I guess we can end the show there. So yeah, if you want to be a fighter, don't be one. And if you're still not discouraged, maybe you are crazy enough to do it, then find yourself a gym with coaches that are willing to help you develop, and and also figure out if it's legit or not. And I think, and I think one thing, and just seeing how, I guess, like, just see how committed you are. If anything, none of that matters if you're not really about it.
And guess what? If you are a tough guy, come on down, sign away for Fight Capital. We got plenty of guys there ready to go.
Yeah,
you know. So.
Yeah, exactly. Could be you. Most likely not, but maybe.
Hey, that kid might show up this time. You know, he might actually show up to the gym like, hey, that's the asshole that I told him to meet me at the gym. Now I'm gonna meet.
Yeah, perfect. If you're out there, we don't believe in you. We'll see you soon. Yes. You can. All right. That's been Fighters University, episode 1. It's been good. That's been Eddie Too Smooth. I'm Pocholo.
Have a good one, guys.
See y'all later.